We build cities, we move mountains, we tame the wilderness. Our work is the backbone of modern civilization, the silent force behind the towering skyscrapers and sprawling highways. Every day we transform the landscape, turning blueprints into reality, and dreams into concrete and steel. We are the heavy machinery operators, the unsung heroes of the modern world. Our hands guide the colossal machines that shape our environment. We are the ones who turn the impossible into the possible, the ones who make progress happen. Our office is a steel cage, our view a panorama of dust and danger. From the confines of our metal cabins, we command the giants of industry. The air is thick with the scent of oil and earth, and the horizon is often obscured by a haze of dust. This is our world, a world where every day is a battle against the elements and the terrain. We wrestle with tons of metal, pushing machines to their limits. Each movement is a calculated effort, a dance of precision and power. The machines groan and roar under the strain, but we push them further, knowing that every inch gained is a victory. The risks are real, the stakes high. Every day, we face the possibility of accidents, of machinery failing, of the ground giving way beneath us. But we are trained to handle these dangers, to anticipate the unexpected, and to react with speed and skill. This is not your average 9 to 5. Our days start before the sun rises and often end long after it sets. We work in all conditions, from the blistering heat of summer to the freezing cold of winter. The job is demanding, both physically and mentally, but it is also incredibly rewarding. This is a life on the edge, where quick thinking can mean the difference between a close call and a catastrophe. Every decision we make is critical. Every action we take is scrutinized. There is no room for error, no margin for mistakes. The roar of an engine, the grind of gears, the hiss of hydraulics, these are the sounds of our daily symphony. Each machine has its own rhythm, its own melody, and together they create a cacophony of power and precision. It is a symphony that we conduct with skill and expertise. We are the conductors of this orchestra of power, our movements precise and calculated. Our hands are steady, our minds focused. We know our machines inside and out, and we use that knowledge to guide them with finesse and control. But even the most skilled hand can make a mistake. In the blink of an eye, a moment of distraction can lead to disaster. The weight of responsibility is heavy, and the consequences of failure are severe. And when you're dealing with machines this big, mistakes can be costly. A single error can result in damage worth millions, or worse, in injury or loss of life. It is a burden we carry with us every day, a constant reminder of the importance of our work and the need for vigilance and care. Take the story of the bulldozer driver in the Arizona desert. It was a scorching summer day, the kind where the heat waves shimmer off the ground, and the air feels thick and heavy. The driver, a seasoned operator with years of experience, was tasked with clearing land for a new housing development. The project was ambitious, aiming to transform a barren stretch of desert into a thriving community. He was clearing land for a new housing development, meticulously maneuvering the massive machine to level the uneven terrain. The bulldozer roared as it pushed through the tough desert soil, its blade cutting through the earth like a hot knife through butter. The operator was focused, his hands steady on the controls, his eyes scanning the ground for any signs of trouble. Suddenly, without warning, the ground gave way beneath his tracks. The operator felt a jolt as the bulldozer lurched forward, the solid ground turning into a treacherous trap. The earth crumbled, and the massive machine began to sink. Panic surged through the operator's veins, but he knew he had to stay calm. The massive machine lurched forward, tumbling into a deep, abandoned mine shaft. The bulldozer's weight caused the ground to collapse further, and the machine plummeted into the darkness below. The operator's heart pounded in his chest as he gripped the controls, trying to steady the descent. The shaft seemed to swallow the bulldozer whole, the walls closing in around it. Dust billowed, the engine sputtered and died. The once mighty roar of the bulldozer was replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the sound of falling debris. The operator coughed, his lungs filled with dust, but he was alive. He took a moment to assess his situation, his mind racing with thoughts of how to escape. The operator, dazed but miraculously unhurt, found himself dangling precariously in his safety harness. The harness had saved his life, keeping him from being thrown from the cab during the fall. He looked down and saw the dizzying drop below, a seemingly endless abyss that made his stomach churn. He knew he had to act quickly if he wanted to survive. The drop below was a dizzying abyss. The walls of the shaft were jagged and uneven, and the bottom was lost in shadow. The operator's mind raced as he tried to think of a way out. He knew that time was of the essence, and that he couldn't afford to panic. He took a deep breath and focused on the task at hand. Rescue crews arrived to find a scene straight out of an action movie. The bulldozer was wedged halfway down the shaft, its blade buried in the opposite wall. The operator, suspended in midair, was surprisingly calm. He'd managed to grab his cell phone and call for help, his voice steady despite the fear that gripped him. The bulldozer was wedged halfway down the shaft, its blade buried in the opposite wall. The massive machine was stuck, and the operator knew that getting it out would be a monumental task. The rescue crews assessed the situation, their faces grim as they realized the challenges they faced. The operator, suspended in midair, was surprisingly calm. He'd managed to grab his cell phone and call for help. His voice had been steady, his instructions clear. He knew that panicking would only make things worse, and he focused on staying calm and collected. The rescue crews took note of his composure, impressed by his ability to stay level-headed in such a dire situation. He'd managed to grab his cell phone and call for help. His voice had been steady, his instructions clear. He knew that panicking would only make things worse, and he focused on staying calm and collected. The rescue crews took note of his composure, impressed by his ability to stay level-headed in such a dire situation. It was a tense few hours as firefighters worked to secure the bulldozer and rappel down to the trapped operator. The rescue operation was complex, requiring careful planning and precise execution. The firefighters worked tirelessly, their faces set with determination as they navigated the treacherous shaft. They knew that one wrong move could spell disaster, and they took every precaution to ensure the operator's safety. Finally, they pulled him to safety, shaken but alive. The operator was grateful to be back on solid ground, his ordeal finally over. He thanked the rescue crews, his voice filled with emotion. The firefighters patted him on the back, relieved that the operation had been a success. They knew that it could have ended very differently, and they were grateful for the positive outcome. It was a close call, a stark reminder of the hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface. The incident served as a wake-up call for everyone involved, a reminder that even the most experienced operators can find themselves in perilous situations. The operator vowed to be more cautious in the future, and the rescue crews took note of the lessons learned. The desert, with its hidden shafts and unstable ground, was a dangerous place, and they knew that they had to be prepared for anything. Then, there was the excavator operator battling a different kind of disaster fire. It was an ordinary day on the construction site, or so it seemed. The operator was focused on his task, maneuvering the heavy machinery with precision and skill. Little did he know, a catastrophe was about to unfold. He was working on a bustling construction site in downtown Chicago, surrounded by the sounds of progress, the clanging of metal, the hum of engines, and the distant chatter of workers. Suddenly, a hydraulic line ruptured, sending a high-pressure stream of flammable fluid spraying across the site. The fluid hit the hot engine block, and within moments, flames erupted with terrifying speed. The fire spread rapidly, fueled by the flammable liquid, turning the once orderly construction site into a scene of chaos and panic. The cab of the excavator was quickly engulfed in a raging inferno. The operator, trapped inside, had mere seconds to react. The heat was intense, and the smoke was thick, making it difficult to see or breathe. He knew he had to act fast if he wanted to survive. Desperately, he scrambled for the fire extinguisher mounted inside the cab. But it was too late. The flames were already licking at his clothes, and the extinguisher was no match for the ferocity of the fire. He could feel the heat searing his skin, and the smoke was choking him. Realizing his only chance of survival was to escape, he threw open the door and leaped from the burning machine. The jump was perilous, but he had no other choice. He hit the ground hard, the impact jarring his body, but he was alive. He lay on the ground, gasping for air, his body racked with pain. He had suffered burns and smoke inhalation, but he was alive. The other workers rushed to his aid, helping him to safety and calling for emergency services. The excavator, however, was a smoldering wreck. The once powerful machine was now a twisted, charred hulk of metal. The incident sent shockwaves through the construction industry, serving as a stark reminder of the dangers that workers face every day. It was a sobering lesson in the importance of fire safety and regular maintenance. The incident highlighted the need for stringent safety protocols and the importance of being prepared for emergencies. It was a reminder that even the most routine tasks can turn deadly in an instant, and that vigilance and preparedness are key to ensuring the safety of all workers on a construction site. Engineering marvel Stephen Ballinger's Money Pit. But it's not all about near-death experiences and heroic rescues. Sometimes it's about the sheer ingenuity and skill involved in operating these behemoths. Take Stephen Ballinger, for example. He's a legend in the world of heavy machinery, known for his YouTube channel where he documents his incredible feats of engineering. His most ambitious project? A massive hand-dug pit in his backyard, complete with tunnels, underground chambers, and even a swimming pool. Using nothing but a variety of excavators, bulldozers, and dump trucks, Ballinger spent years carving out this subterranean marvel. It's a testament to his skill, determination, and the sheer power of heavy machinery. His videos have garnered millions of views, inspiring a new generation of operators and showcasing the artistry possible in this often overlooked profession. Stage disaster check train wreck. Sometimes the dangers we face are carefully orchestrated, all in the name of safety. In the Czech Republic they stage a train crash every year. It's not a real crash, of course, but a meticulously planned simulation designed to test the skills of emergency responders. They use real trains, real fire, and real actors to make the scenario as realistic as possible. Heavy machinery plays a crucial role in the exercise. Excavators are used to clear debris, cranes lift mangled train cars, and bulldozers create realistic obstacles for the rescue teams to navigate. It's a chaotic, high-pressure environment, but it's also an invaluable learning experience. By practicing for the worst, these first responders are better prepared to handle real-life emergencies.